Welcome and thank you for joining our next installment of our webinar destination series. Today we are talking all about the iconic destinations, bucket list destinations of South America, of Antarctica and Panama Canal. My name is David Craven and I'm lucky enough to be one of the key account managers here at Princess, and it is my utmost pleasure to be your guide as we unveil all of these iconic destinations. Now, there are a number of cruise lines sailing in this region, so why choose Princess? Now, expect that premium cruise line onboard experience, premium offerings in terms of accommodation, entertainment, food, and our service is something that genuinely does shine from our brand. The medallion is something that separates us from anything else in the cruising industry. It's all about providing the best service possible for all guests on board. It's all about on-demand service as well. So if you want a drink, order it through the app, we'll bring it to you. You want something to eat, order it, we'll bring it to you. You forgot you actually want some fresh towels in your cabin, send a message to your cabin steward, they'll do it for you. It's all about empowering our crew to deliver the best service at sea. And we are seeing more and more people choosing Princess not only as their cruise option, but actually as their holiday option because of the medallion and all of the service benefits that you receive. Now, we do offer world-class dining and we offer real flexibility when it comes to dining. We understand that some people just see a meal as a necessity, whereas some people really want to have a specialty dining experience or something experiential. So we have absolutely everything to cater for all palates. Our loyalty program is something that separates us from an awful lot of cruise lines. We really do acknowledge and thank and reward our guests for choosing Princess as their cruise line option. Now, I did mention the medallion. It is an absolute game changer. If you have not experienced it, get yourself on board a Princess ship and you'll see what all the fuss is about. It's all about expediting the embarkation process. So when you're coming to the cruise terminal, drop your luggage off, get your medallion and come on board. It's all about getting guests on as quickly as possible to enjoy their holiday. The door literally opens because you've got the medallion on you. So you literally come to your cabin door, it will unlock and you walk straight in. So when you're coming back from the buffet with 3 plates of food and 2 cocktails, it's nice and easy to get in. It's all about that on-demand service that I previously mentioned, and it's service that you feel. Now, because of the Ocean Compass, which is where you can see your fellow travel companions, it's a really great way to stay better connected. The cabin stewards can see if you're in your stateroom in the morning, as an example. Not literally, but they can see. They're in there. I'm not going to bother you. Get yourself ready. Go upstairs for breakfast. Then they'll come in and they'll make your room up. Same in the evening times. So it's service that you feel, okay? Everything just seems to be flawless and seamless. It really is a fantastic way to cruise. And once you've cruised on board a Princess ship with the medallion, it is really hard to choose another holiday style, if I'm honest. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about is our Princess bundles. We are talking about international cruises here. So the currency on board our ships will be USD. Now, at the moment, the US dollar is extremely strong against the Aussie dollar. So avoid that exchange rate and secure Princess Plus or Princess Premier. Princess Plus is only 65 Australian dollars per person per day, and Princess Premier is only $100 per person per day. Now, when we look at Princess Premier, this is unlimited premium beverages. It's unlimited premium desserts. It's unlimited fitness classes. You receive all of your photos from your holiday as well, which is something that people really do want. You also have unlimited casual and unlimited specialty dining. It is the ultimate in all-inclusive experience. Now, when we're talking about 100 Australian dollars, the value here cannot be compared. For $100, it is outrageous. But because the US dollar is so strong, it's basically 2 to 1. So that's $50 US. The specialty restaurants on board on average, they're like $50 US just for one specialty meal. So why not lock it in Australian dollars before you go and avoid that exchange rate? It's all about value and it's all about enhancing the cruise experience. Now let's talk about some destinations and kick things off with South America and Antarctica. Now, obviously, when we get down into the Antarctic Peninsula, it's always going to be a bit chilly. It's never going to be particularly warm. And Ushuaia, which is that southernmost point of South America, never really climbs much more, or doesn't really get into double figures, in all honesty. But of course, once you're heading further up towards the tropic region, then expect much warmer temperatures, close to 30 degrees, and of course, expect high levels of humidity in this part of the world. Now, for our 25-26 as well as our 26-27 season, these are a splattering of cruise ports that we visit. Now, one thing that I wanted to highlight when we're talking about Antarctica, you can see that box there on the left-hand side. This is how close, and this is basically how deep you're getting into the Antarctic Peninsula. Now, if you're looking at expedition style cruising, you will see the same places. We're getting into the same destinations. The main difference that we're talking about here is we are not an expedition vessel, so we do not have zodiacs. You cannot do physical landings on Antarctica itself. Now, I know that may be a deal breaker for some guests, and I fully appreciate that. But on the flip side, because this is a cruise, it's nowhere near as expensive. Like, the dollar value it's a considerably cheaper option than going on an expedition style ship. Also, when you're cruising expedition, they are typically smaller ships. Some expedition vessels are as low as 70 passengers. Now, famously, that stretch of water between South America and Antarctica, I mean, it is famous for being quite choppy. So the smaller the ship, they're going to feel more motion from the ocean, okay? Whereas with a Princess vessel, these are ocean liners. They are designed to face the worst from what the ocean can actually throw at them. So it's going to be much smoother sailing, and you're going to have all of the Princess inclusions and amenities that you are used to as well, okay? So there is definitely something to weigh up and to compare, but they are some of the biggest comparisons. And when we're talking about Antarctica, people go, well, you know, we just kind of waving at it from a distance. No, we are getting into the Antarctic Peninsula to see all of those aquatic mammals and to basically be overawed by that natural beauty that Antarctica offers. Now, when we're cruising in South America, we have over 20 destinations that we're visiting. We actually we offer 11 countries as well. We have easy access to 12 UNESCO heritage sites. There's more than that in South America. South America truly is a treasure trove of UNESCO heritage sites. We provide 5 unique itineraries, and we actually have 3 more ashore destinations as well. Now, for our 25-26 as well as 26-27 season, we have the Majestic Princess and Sapphire Princess. Both of these ships have visited Australia, so I dare say if you have those kind of repeat Princess guests, they will have cruised on one of these ships, and they are firm favorites. They really are. Now, we have just launched our loyalty week for our 26-27 season. That went live on the 14th of May. General sale is kicking off on the 20th of May. So make sure you're jumping in, locking in those select sailings. But this is now live to book for our passengers. Let's have a look at some itineraries. So here on the left-hand side, this is an example of our round-trip Antarctic sailing. So it's round-trip from Buenos Aires. We are going to dip into Ushuaia as well as Punta Arenas, some beautiful ports of call. Then we're getting right into the heart of that Antarctic Peninsula. Now, like I said earlier, we are not actually allowing guests. We don't physically have the ability to get guests to land on Antarctica. However, en route home, we will visit Port Stanley in the Falkland Islands, and this will give you access to one of the largest colonies of penguins in the region. So you will still be able to see those beautiful birds up close and personal, grab those fantastic photo opportunities. They just won't be physically on the continent of Antarctica. Now, basically what happens is the ship will migrate from Los Angeles. It will spend some time in South America and then we'll move away from the region. So what you can do, you can basically chop up these longer sailings. On the right-hand side, this is a full 53-night option going all the way from Los Angeles, migrating all the way down the western side of South America, heading up to Buenos Aires, then getting in and doing an Antarctic cruise at the end. Obviously, not everybody has such a length of time to go on a cruise, so you can chop this up by doing, say, an LA to Santiago round to Buenos Aires, or of course, you can just do the Antarctic cruise itself. It is flexible depending on how long you are able to cruise and where, of course, you would like to see. Now, we offer some fantastic cruise tours in this region because, of course, people are wanting to explore the iconic destinations that are Machu Picchu as well as Iguazu Falls. Now, we can offer these pre and post cruises. Make sure you are jumping into Polar Online to make sure we are finding the correct cruise tour that combines with the cruise that you're looking for. Also, if you go to OneSource, click on Destinations, South America, have a look at that cruise tour flyer, and it will let you know all the cruises that combine with the cruise tours. Now, one thing I will say with Machu Picchu as well as Iguazu Falls, the way you book them means that you can only have one. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people would say, I'd love to fly in, do Machu Picchu, do a cruise, and then get off and do Iguazu Falls. Polar isn't built that way, unfortunately. Okay, so you can actually only include one. Now, with that, I would say Iguazu Falls is actually the trickier of the two in terms of arranging or doing it FIT, doing it yourself. So what I would always recommend is if you want to do them both, include the cruise tour that does Iguazu Falls, and then do your own arrangements for Machu Picchu, because there are so many different operators to get you to see that amazing UNESCO heritage site. That would be my tip, but of course, it's all about kind of how the arrangements fall for your clients. Shore excursions, make sure you're making the most out of this destination. Sometimes people think that they can do things by themselves. This is a destination that is extremely sparse. It is a vast continent, so make sure you are doing a bit of research. Head to princess.com, have a look at the shore excursion offerings and costings in each of the ports, so then you can make that real good judgment as to say, hey, we don't want to miss out on this. I think we could do this potentially ourselves, so on and so forth. But of course, by locking in that shore excursion, it's going to give you that safety net where if anything goes wrong, if that coach breaks down en route back to the ship, we know about it and the ship can wait for you. If you are going independently and you are late back to the ship, then of course that ship may leave without you. Now let's move on to the wonderful Panama Canal, a destination that I've done a number of different times. I've done the round trip in the Caribbean. I've done east to west and west to east, and they are very similar. Obviously, you're going through the Panama Canal, but there is some nuance to each of them. So it's good to get in to the difference between the different cruising options. Now, for our 25-26 season, these are the different ports of call that we are visiting. Now, with Panama Canal, they actually added in some new locks just a few years ago. I don't think it was that long ago, probably within the last 5 years. And what that did, it allowed even bigger cruise vessels to go through the Panama Canal. Now, some people really want the kind of older locks. Some people want the newer locks. What you can do when you're looking in Polar Online, it will let you know which locks that you are actually traversing, so you can make that informed judgment as to whether you're going through the newer or through the older locks. Now, when I did this whilst working on board, I was on board the Island Princess. The Island and Coral were both purposely built to go through the Panama Canal, and they are called Panamax class ships. It is unbelievable when you're going through these locks. With the Island and Coral, as they went through the locks, they actually had to shrink by 10 meters. So we bring parts of the ship in, so parts of the lifeboats and things like that, that all squeezes in. Then as we're being pulled through by the mules, they're basically like little trolleys, we send out cables, or I should say shipping lines, cables, and basically you get pulled through. As you're getting pulled through, there is only 6 inches each side of the ship. That's how close you are to the lock. It is unbelievable and an amazing feat of engineering. Now, just a little kind of trivia tip. This does often pop up in trivia. When you are traveling from east to west, so if you're going from the Caribbean through to the Pacific side, when you go through the locks, you are actually traveling south southeasterly, believe it or not. And that's because Panama there, it kind of kinks up. So you can see if you're going from the Caribbean, which you can see in the top left there in the box, you are traveling southeasterly to get through to the Pacific Ocean. Now, we do spend a fair season here in Panama. Now, if you're looking to do the full transit going from east to west or west to east, that will happen at the start/end of the seasons, okay? So typically when the cruise ships have finished doing their Caribbean season, they're going to migrate up towards Alaska. That's going to happen around that April time. So that's going to be the full east to west. We then cruise in Alaska. That season typically finishes around that August, September time. So those west to east, they're going to happen around that September, October time. Okay. Then, of course, we'll have ships going round trip from Fort Lauderdale, and they are going to be available during that typical Caribbean season. Now, it doesn't really matter when you're going to be there. Expect high temperatures. It is a very, very warm and very, very humid destination. Okay, it never really gets below 30 degrees in all honesty. I know that little infographic there says between 20 and 32. That 20 degrees is probably at nighttime. But even at nighttime, believe you me, it definitely feels warm. Now, if you are flexible on your timings, I will try and avoid that kind of September time. August, September, it does get really humid. It's very, very humid. We don't need to worry too much about hurricanes, which is something that we talked about in the Caribbean, because that happens closer out towards the Atlantic. We're going to be more focused in Central America, so you shouldn't be affected by those things. But August in this part of the world is so hot. It really is very, very, very humid. If you're somebody who loves that, then you're going to love August, September in this part of the world. So you're going to visit, we have options allowing guests to visit up to 27 destinations. We have 9 ships in this region over the coming years, 31 different departures and 5 different departure points, giving opportunity to explore 9 unique itineraries. Now, when we're talking about the ships cruising this region, we have everything to suit every single guest. Now, some passengers prefer a smaller ship, some passengers prefer a bigger ship, and some people have, those firm favorites. As you can see here, we have our smaller ships in the fleet, which is the Coral Princess and Island Princess. They're about 2,000 passengers, all the way up to the larger ship, and indeed the very newest ship in our fleet. She's not even built yet. She's halfway there. She's going to be launched in October this year, but the brand new Star Princess will actually offer some Panama Canal options. So there is something to suit every single cruising passenger. So let's have a look at some different options here. Now, the one here on the far left-hand side, this is our round trip option out from Fort Lauderdale. So we're going to visit Aruba in the Dutch Antilles. Then we're going to dip into Cartagena, an absolutely wonderful port of call in Colombia. So vibrant, great food. Get to the old town and you'll have an amazing time. Then what happens is the cruise ship will then enter the first lock, turn the ship around, and then come out of the same lock and then dock in Cologne. So Cologne is the port in Panama there. So what this does, as we go through the lock, we then allow passengers to disembark to do a shore excursion. This isn't complimentary, it is a paid shore excursion. But then what you can do is watch the ship getting pulled through. So you can actually see the behind the scenes of how the Panama Canal works. It is absolutely amazing. We'll have some talks. You can get to see some parts of the museum and things like that. So then what happens is those guests that have done that shore excursion will then meet the vessel in Cologne as it then continues its cruise. As you can see, this itinerary will dip into Limon, Costa Rica, which is a superb port of call. This will give you access to volcanic mud pits, to the sloth sanctuaries, which is an amazing experience. And of course, Costa Rica is the home of zip lining. So even if you're a little bit concerned about zip lining, you've got to do it. You're in the home of it and you'll have so much fun. The 2 options here in the middle and on the right hand side, these are going from west to east. These are 2 options, one going from Los Angeles to Fort Lauderdale, or the one on the right hand side is slightly longer, and this one's going from Vancouver. So you can see this is the very end of the Alaska season. Jump on board in Vancouver. You're going to take in parts of the west coast of the US. dipping into Mexico, Mazatlan, and then dipping through Puerto Amador, which is going to give you access into Panama, through the Panama Canal, Aruba, and then finishing in Fort Lauderdale, Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. Now, if I had the option to choose between those two different itineraries, I personally would choose the one in the middle. Now, the reason for this, when we look at the itinerary on the right-hand side, is taking in more of the west coast of the US. Now, I dare say guests that are looking to do Panama Canal are probably well-traveled. Most likely they've already been to America. If they've been to the US, they'll have probably done San Francisco, Los Angeles, and those different destinations. What I would recommend is doing that middle itinerary, because we're taking in parts of Central America. We're getting into Huatulco. We're getting into Punta Arenas in Costa Rica. You're going to get a more authentic, immersive experience in a really uncovered destination. This isn't massively touristy. The people are wonderful. The food is exquisite. The landscapes, the ocean, everything is so beautiful. It's very much untouched. And you're going to get a really amazing experience, and something that I think would stick with you more than visiting kind of big cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles. You know, we're going through the Panama Canal. I want that cultural experience. By doing an itinerary that's taking in more of Central America, I personally would say you're going to get a more authentic experience in this region. There are a number of shore excursions. I would always recommend taking shore excursions when doing the Panama Canal, so you can actually get the most out of the experience. So, you know, do the shore excursion where you get off the vessel and watch the ship get pulled through the locks, learn about how it all works, because it truly is amazing. Get to see a sloth, go and see the sloths, get to a sloth sanctuary, hold them. They are the most adorable, beautiful things. Their breath does smell a little bit. So as we all know, sloths are super slow, extremely slow. So is their digestion system. So their digestion system is so slow that they actually can't fart, believe it or not. So they don't pass wind. Because of this, they need to get rid of those gases. The body actually absorbs it back into its bloodstream, and they exhale it through their mouth or their nose. So sometimes when you're holding onto them, you do get a bit of whiff of bad breath. It's actually not bad breath, they're farting out their face. But they are super gorgeous. You've got to see them, you've got to hold them. They're very, very adorable. Like I mentioned, get out into the rainforest, go into those volcanic mud baths. They are absolutely amazing. Try the local cuisine and meet the locals. You will have a holiday to remember. Now, of course, we're talking about international destinations. Now, I understand that most agents will have better rates in their local GDS, so I fully appreciate that. But remember, we do have Easy Air on hand to offer all of those additional benefits, like the guaranteed same-day departure. So, for instance, if they are aiming to cruise, say, Los Angeles through to Fort Lauderdale, and they want to arrive the day of the cruise departing, bit hairy, I would never recommend that. But if that's what they want, then what we can do is we can arrange that. We will book that through Easy Air, and if there's a delay, we can let the ship know. Okay, so the ship can actually postpone its departure time if we have guests coming down to the ship and they've been slightly delayed. We know about that because of Easy Air. So it's all about streamlining that kind of communication. Also, for instance, I don't know, there's a volcanic eruption somewhere in the world and flights have been cancelled. You're going to miss the departure. We guarantee to get the guests on to that first port of call. Okay, so there are some real benefits to Easy Air. It's called Easy Air because it is so simple to utilize. If you've never really used it before, you know, get into Polar Online and play around with Easy Air. You'll see just how easy it is. You can book economy, premium, business, and first for your clients. We can add in stopovers. It really, really is a very, very seamless way to book flights. Now, with that, I would love to say thank you so much for joining this presentation all about South America, Antarctica, and the Panama Canal. We have seen a huge increase in demand for these destinations. I think a lot of people have missed out, you know, being able to get to these bucket list destinations over the past 5 years, and people are now, they don't want to wait anymore. They want to get out there. They're desperate to explore these amazing destinations. And in all honesty, Princess is one of the best ways to explore this incredible part of the world. Thank you so much for joining this presentation. And with that, I will leave you with this very short video talking all about South America. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.